Hi guys, welcome to Koternik's Corner. So in this video, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how I modify some of my watering systems in my quail cages. I also want to show you how you can actually tap your own holes in the PVC pipe to allow you to use water nipples or the standard water cups, and also eliminate having to buy these little T-fittings that we normally use to screw the water cups into or to screw the nipples into. Most of you know that I use hatching time cages, and that in the past we've done a video on how I modify those cages. Some of the modifications were to open up the center dividers in the cages, which will allow the birds to transverse across the entire cage, basically turning it from a 3-unit tier into a single unit tier. And one of the main reasons behind that, besides allowing the birds to have more room, was as assembled, the individual cages only have one water nipple per unit. I'm a big fan of redundancy, and so I didn't want to end up with a case where one of them water nipples got plugged up and I had a cage that wasn't getting any water. So what I did was, on the hatching time cages, I pulled out the watering rails and I actually installed a second nipple for each of them cages. I didn't want to open up all my cages to be single units, because I do like having the individual units to use as a breeding cage. So for me, it was just as easy to go ahead and just take the rail out, drill and tap another hole, and then just add a second nipple, just for the redundancy. I'm also going to show you how I did my standard grow-out cages, where I was able to eliminate all these T-fittings. I was able to eliminate having to use the PVC glue, obviously, to glue them on, just by drilling and tapping the PVC pipe. So let me go ahead and bring the camera in a little bit closer and give you guys a real quick demo on how I drill and tap the holes, and what I do for my different cage setup scenarios. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to show you was, this is the standard rail as it comes in the hatching time cage. You can see we've only got 3 nipples, one for each unit. What I'm going to show you real quick how to do is to drill and tap the pipe so you can add multiple nipples. I'm also going to be going over how to drill and tap a 1/2-inch piece of PVC, and that will help to eliminate this fitting right here. So first off, to get started, the tools you're going to need is obviously a drill and drill bits. The size drill bits you'll need is 1/8 inch and 5/16. That'll be the size of the hole. And then you're going to need a tap. And this tap can be purchased at either Home Depot or Northern. I think I got this one at Northern. And the size is 3/8-24. So it's 3/8 of an inch, 24 threads per inch. I tested out the size, the thread size here on the pipe, this thread size, and also the thread size on the water nipples. They're both the same size, and I checked them at Home Depot. They've got a little board that you can thread it into, and it'll tell you what size it was. And they say they came up with being a 10 millimeter -1.0. But I tried that. I bought that tap, the 10 millimeter tap. I came home, I tapped out a few of the pipes, and when I threaded the pipes in, the hole was just a little bit too big. It wanted to wobble. So I went back up to Northern and I bought the equivalent, which is the 3/8 by 24. And these only run about $7 or $8, so they're pretty inexpensive. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is decide where you want to put your holes. And what I did was, I just took a marker and just put a little mark right about where I want the holes to be, or the nipples to be installed. And then the first thing you're going to do is go ahead and drill you a pilot hole using your 1/8 inch drill bit. Now this pipe on the Hatching Time cages is PVC, so it's pretty simple to drill. I go real slow because I don't want to waller up a hole or anything. Okay, and once you've got your pilot holes drilled, go ahead and come back with your 5/16 and open the holes up. Okay, I'm also going to real quick drill one on the 1/2 inch PVC, just so you can see it's basically the same process, but just want to give you a real quick example. Okay, and once you've got your holes drilled, what I do is, normally there's like a T-bar that goes on the end of this thing. You can see that it's square on the end. That's for a T-bar. I just mount it in the drill. I stick it all the way in the drill and mount it, and just make sure that it's running true. It's not wobbling at all. And then you can just take your pipe, just set that on there, and you don't have to go real fast. You just want to kind of go slow and let that slowly cut the hole. And once it does, just run it down so you just bottom out, and then come back up. And then what I do is I clean off the threads of the tap, and I run it down one more time, just to make sure everything's cleaned up real nice. Okay, let me go ahead and do the same thing on the Hatching Time rails. Okay, now that we've got all the holes drilled, we can go ahead and install our nipples. Now on the Hatching Time nipples are a little bit different size than the nipples that come, that I normally order off Amazon or get from the feed store. Basically, I mean, the thread size is the same, it's just that the nipple itself is bigger. You want to use, if you're using it for the Hatching Time cages, you want to make sure you get this smaller nipple. That way when you go to slide it in the side of the cage, it will fit right in. Another thing that I do, and you don't have to, is I put Teflon tape on the nipple just to keep the threads from leaking. Hatching Time doesn't do that. They just use just the plain nipple and thread it on there. And I imagine that's fine, but I kind of overthink things most of the time. And now when you first put these in, this is using that 3/8 tap. You're going to notice that these holes are a little bit tight when you first start threading them in. And that's a good thing, because we don't want the things to leak. When I used the 10 millimeter tap, the threads were real loose, and this actually wobbled going in. So now I just take and using a a wrench, I just run it in until it bottoms out. And it's not real hard. I mean, it goes in, but it's just not loose enough to where you can finger tighten it all the way up. Okay, so there you go. You can see now we have 2 water nipples for each cage. So that one's ready to go back in the cage. I'm not going to do all of them here on camera, but I did want to show you real quick the holes that we tapped in the 1/2-inch pipe will fit either the standard water nipple, or you can thread in the standard poultry watering cup. So there you go. Obviously this wouldn't be mounted like this unless it was a horizontal nipple, but you know, it would be down in that position. But I just wanted to show you that you can run either the standard nipple or the poultry watering cup, and you can also eliminate having to purchase these and PVC cement. Okay guys, so I hope that helps a little bit with giving you some ideas on how you can modify your watering systems a little bit, especially if you're using the hatching time cages and keeping the units separate. I would highly recommend adding a second water nipple per cage. It's just going to save you in the long run. As inexpensive as it is to buy the tap and to buy a second set of nipples, it's well worth it. It could possibly save you some birds. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I want to thank you for joining me today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Helps me out. You can get notified of any new and upcoming videos. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.